ocean is a metaphor for life. Sometimes it's calm, and all of a sudden there's a hurricane, and hurricanes bring on waves. Being in the ocean, being in the waves, I excluded everything around me. Enjoy the true essence of life. It's all about just you in that moment. Your troubles, they all go away. My mom, my stepfather, and my two siblings. We were a low-income family, having to worry about where our next meal was coming from. Domestic violence, abuse, alcoholism. It seemed like every other year I was moving apartments all throughout Central Florida. Starting in Daytona, it was like the highest crime rate in the United States. One morning, gangbangers were hanging outside, and as my stepfather left, one of the guys came through the window and raped my mom. So the next day, my stepfather decided to put a gun on the couch. I got a hold of it and shot myself in my left foot. My stepfather was in his underwear, holding me, running across the street to a payphone to call 911 because we didn't have, a landline phone at the time. When I was 3 years old, that's how my childhood started.
I met Raheem, we was probably about 8 years old playing Pop Warner. The alcohol abuse at home for him, it made everything unstable, and I believe that football was always his outlet. Chop was the coach when we was there.
Coach Chop, Mike Aubrey Stokes, first ever Pop Warner football coach. He's probably one of the most influential, if not the most influential persons in my life. He is the reason I am who I am.
Raheem never knew his biological father. He had a stepfather who was not an example for him, and he just gravitated towards Mike, and Mike gravitated towards him.
Coaching me on not only about football, but about, things that you can't control, life. I thought that everybody was getting a whooping, and everybody was getting treated wrong by their parents.
As he opened up, he became more comfortable and realizing I think it's okay to be a kid. He doesn't have to be strong. He doesn't have to be on guard all the time.
And then I found the ocean, being on the surf, knowing that, no matter what you got, your possessions or anything like that, your troubles, they all go away.
There were really nice people that would lend him a surfboard, and he would get out there in the water and in the silence and by himself and escape.
One of the memories that I have when I was about 17, I had an altercation with my stepfather. My little brother was acting up again, and my stepfather just started wailing on him with a belt. I'm trying to protect him and intervene, and he ended up pointing a gun at me. I realized that I could sit here and weep about what happened, or I can just grow and learn from those events.
Everybody used to call him a loner. He used to be by himself, but it wasn't that. He just knew that he had a goal in life. He worked hard in the classroom just as hard as he worked in the weight room, on the field. He had the grades, he was an honor roll student. But our senior year, he flipped the switch. Nobody could touch him.
That was the turning point.
That's when everything started coming in. You got big time colleges coming.
I had offers at UCF, USF, FIU, FAU, Miami, The reason why I went to Purdue was to get away and leave behind, all the BS that I was dealing with.
It opened up so many doors for him, including meeting Devon.
He had seen me in the weight room at Purdue. Back then it was Facebook, so he had messaged me on Facebook, and we quickly became best friends after that.
She's a straight A student. She's always worked hard, and so I kind of picked up on that when I was in college and seeing how she did things, and it just inspired me to become even better.
He's gone! Raheem Mostert's gonna go to the house!
At Purdue, he was a dual athlete. He did football and track. He was a standout track guy.
I win Big Ten championship in 4 events. I go to nationals. As I'm coming back from Eugene, Oregon, we're landing in O'Hare. My phone just blows up. Samson calls me up and he's crying. He's like, bro, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm like, bro, spit it out. Like, what's going on? And he's like, your brother got shot. What do you mean he got shot? By who? He's like, your dad shot him.
He called me, and he was obviously really, really upset, and the only thing that he could get out was, is my brother breathing? And I'll never forget that phone call because I truly didn't know the answer.
His stepfather had shot his stepbrother multiple times, and his stepbrother was in the hospital, and he was right at a point in his football career where things could change, and he wanted to drop everything.
At that moment, I had a crossroad.
Raheem's brother had gotten out of emergency surgery. His dad was on the run, and I knew that Raheem was at an airport. And the last thing I wanted Raheem to do was to jump on a flight to Florida and potentially ruin his life after everything that Raheem had been through.
Chop told him to stay focused, stay where he's at.
He said, hey, look, brother, whatever you and your family need, I'm here. Keep focusing on school, keep focusing on football. I got you on this side of things.
If he walked away, he could be giving up everything that he had been working for.
If he speaks loudly, even if it's a soft tone. And when he told me that, I said, okay, I had to stay at the university and just keep fighting on.
Towards the later rounds of the draft, Raheem was getting the phone calls of, maybe we'll pick you up 5th, 6th, 7th round. As the rounds kind of ticked by, we were like, okay.
7th round hit. That's when, I realized that I wasn't getting that call that I was gonna get drafted.
It doesn't always work out how you think it's gonna work out. That was a hard day.
I came out undrafted in 2015. I went to sign with the Eagles as an undrafted free agent. Got cut, was picked up by the Dolphins. 3 weeks, head coach got fired. I got cut. Got picked up by Baltimore. We got cut by them. Then got picked up by the Browns. The following year, made the 53-man roster with the Browns. Then I get cut the next day. I get picked up by the Jets for 1 week, and then they cut me. I get picked up by Chicago, and then they put me on practice squad IR, and then that's when I signed with the 49ers.
With all the things that he had to go through at the early part of his career, you read the room and you think, hey, you know what? Maybe this guy's not used to hearing that kind of stuff. We believe in you and what we think your potential is. So, I think we early on gave him some much needed juice in terms of hey, these guys are looking at me different.
Heavenly Father, we come before you in the name of praise. First off, thank you for the gracious God that you are.
The early years of when I was on the 49ers gave me a little bit of stability, but it was kind of a roller coaster. I was going up and down in regards to the depth chart.
2018, there was a game against the Packers that things really changed for him from his mind. You know, we really needed him to produce, and he had a stellar game.
Raheem Mostert is taking over.
And from that moment on, it was a different level of belief in himself, level of conviction in the decisions he'd make with the ball in his hands.
"2019, that was like the highest of highs for me and the lowest of lows. Getting that phone call from Mama Chop, you know, I thought it was just a routine call. No, it wasn't that. It was that call of, you know, I'm sorry. That's all she said to me was, I'm really sorry. He's gone.
Chop was diagnosed with metastatic brain cancer. He passed away on June 14th, 2019.
It was really hard because Chop kind of declined so quickly. He had actually passed 8 days before we had our son Gunner.
I wanted him to hold my son. That was a hard moment for me. That was, yeah.
He lost his father figure. He lost his mentor, his best friend, coach.
He was like the ocean. Every time I got in contact with him, I felt like, you know, all those troubles just went away. The Super Bowl was being hosted in Florida. That was the destination, the final destination. So I dedicated that season to Chop. I wrote under the SF logo, I just put Chop. And I wore that every game. I wanted him right there with me.
What changed his whole career and his life was that NFC Championship game where everyone learned who he was. He got a couple carries. You could tell he wasn't going to get tackled, and Kyle kept calling run plays to him.
Mostert off the left side, breaks a tackle. 25, 20, 10, 5, touchdown!
House call from Raheem Mostert.
Down the sideline, Raheem Mostert does it again! Touchdown!
Touchdown?
Touchdown.
Raheem Mostert has the hat trick!
All the things that he had to go through. The despair on draft day, 6 teams in a year, and to continue saying, I can do it when people said you couldn't, it was inspiring.
Raheem Mostert has 4 rushing touchdowns and the most yards rushing in a playoff game in 49er history.
Scored 4 touchdowns against Green Bay, carried his team to the Super Bowl. Raheem even scored a touchdown in that game. It was pretty amazing. It was like Chop was there for Raheem.
I knew that he was looking down and he was happy. He was proud. He's proud. He's proud of me.
Breaking news in the NFL today, standout running back Raheem Mostert is leaving the 49ers for the Miami Dolphins.
I wanted to come back with Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins, and you know, I wanted to help build something special in the state of Florida.
Raheem was so happy to be signed back on with the Dolphins.
Raheem Mostert having a career year.
He just was more at ease and he could really just play the game and have fun and be happy.
There's the Miami record, the 19th touchdown of the season. I mean, it's pretty cool for a kid who grew up in the state of Florida, New Smyrna Beach, has a surfer, and comes down south a little bit and setting records.
With Raheem coming home to Miami, he's by the water again, spending time with the family and friends that he haven't been around for a while, especially the Stokes family.
I remember I was in a TJ Maxx one moment in my life, and I saw a stock photo of a beautiful family, the whole entire family smiling. That picture just always stuck with me and what I wanted to pursue. And I'm here now to say I have a beautiful family, my wife, Devon, and we have 3 young boys, Gunnar, Nico, and Miles.
Raheem is an amazing hands-on father. He wants his kids to love life and be happy and have a childhood, the one he never really had.
Everything Raheem has had to go through in life has made him really, really, really strong. He can tackle and conquer anything that life throws his way, and it's amazing to see what he's achieved.
I'm just happy and blessed to be in this position to share my story, and I hope people take away everything that I shared and just learn and grow. Never look back. Keep working, stay grounded, and be one with the ocean, one with the waves.